Hi, guys. Thank you so much for coming back for another video. Do you all know how it feels that when God tells you to do something and you're scared, but you do it anyway? You step out on faith and do it anyway. And once you do it, you realize because you exercised your faith and did what he told you to do, he got your back. It feels so good knowing that God has your back. Let me tell you, when God told me to move here to Las Vegas 3 nights in a dream, and I did it, and I got here, and I was sitting in that airport realizing there is no turning back. Because you bought a one-way ticket coming to Las Vegas. And the first phone call that I made to try to find a place to stay, and that woman was going, "Oh, you crazy? Why would you do that? You're going to be sleeping on the streets tonight." And I did not let her get into my mental. I told that woman, my father said no. And I said it forcefully like that to let her know. I don't know who the hell you think you are. He done brought me here. Now you trying to put some fear in me? Huh? No, ma'am. I told her, I got to let you, bye. I got to let you go. Because I got to call someone who can help me. And baby, when I said God had my back, he had my back. He had a sister's back. The second place I called, and they told me to come on over. They couldn't tell me whether or not they had space, but to come on over. I get over to that place, guys, and let me tell you, everything that I needed was in that one building, on that campus. Everything. I had been trying to get Medicare because I was passing out left and right. I tried to get Medicare in Texas. I tried to get Medicare in Atlanta. Couldn't get Medicare. I got Medicare in one day when a gentleman came to that shelter. Not only did I get Medicare, he gave me the name of a clinic to go to. Scheduled me an appointment. I started going to that clinic. They still couldn't figure out what was wrong with me. Yeah. You know how I got diagnosed for my disability? This is going to get y'all when I say God knew what he was doing when he told me to move here. I'm in the shelter one day, and me and this young girl is talking. Well, she wasn't all of that young. She's a pretty young lady, younger than me. And I'm telling her what was going on with me and why I came to Las Vegas, and I don't know what's going on. I keep passing out and this, that, and the other. She asked me a few questions, and she said, "It sounds to me like you have such and such a disease." I says, "What is that?" She says, "Look it up." I looked it up, and I had 8 of the 10 symptoms. Wrote them down, went to my doctor and said, "You think I could possibly have this?" And he looked at it. He looked at me. He says, "You know what? I think this is what it is." You need to go and file for disability. I never wanted to file for disability. Disability ain't enough money. But I had no choice. I was steady passing out left and right. I was able to get the man that came to the shelter. He signed me up for food stamps. And he said, "You're going to get a call later on today. Make sure you get the call." I happened to be in the kitchen washing dishes when the call came through, and I couldn't take the call. When I tried calling them back, it was a number that you couldn't call back on. So I asked someone, I was like, "Hey, Family Services called me concerning my food stamps. Can you tell me where the office is, or, somebody have a number?" And she said, "Oh, the office is right across the street." I says, "Really?" She says, "Yeah, I'll take you over there tomorrow." she takes me over to the office. I tell them why I'm there. I applied for food stamps. Somebody called me. I missed the call. They tell me to put my social security number in and have a seat. 10 minutes later, the man called me up to the window. And he says, "Here you go." I said, "What's that?" He says, "Your food stamp card." I'm a mess, y'all. I said, "It's my food stamp card." He said, "Yeah. You did file for food stamps. You came over here and say somebody called you. Don't you want your card?" And I said, "You going to give me the card right here?" He says, "Ma'am, I don't know where you from, but you're here in this office right now. Why would we send it to you in the mail when you're right here? Ma'am, please take your card. You have a blessed day." I looked at him. I says, "Well, thank you very much. You have a blessed day too." And I left out of the office. I'm like, what? I got Medicaid, and I got stamps, and I got a place to stay already? They had a nurse in the shelter building. They had a employment coach. The employment coach, she had some connections. And one of her connections, they needed some people to work down at our merchandise market center here. We were just going to be down there for I think I was down there for 9 days. Just walking around cleaning up. It was a lot of people there cleaning up. So we really didn't have much to clean. I was walking around trying to find something to clean. So I had a little money coming in. Also, that employment coach, if you came up to the trailer where she was, and it wasn't like a regular trailer. It was like a double wide trailer. It was nice in there. If you came up there to get on the computer to do your resume or do a job search, or if she had someone coming there and you came down to listen to the person and talk to them, you were able to go in the clothes closet and get you some clothes. I came to Nevada with the clothes on my back. And by the time I left that shelter, guys, I couldn't hardly carry the clothes out of there. That's my father. COVID happened while I was in that shelter. If I had still been in Texas and had not listened to God, I would have got caught out in the streets. If I had not listened to God and moved my butt here to Las Vegas. COVID happened. And when I tell you those folks took care of us, they took care of us. We ate royally. Casinos closed. The casinos were keeping some of their workers employed. And you know who some of those workers were? The cooks. We got meal delivery every day from some casino. We got pallets of snacks from Walmart or wherever. At first, they would have us come down to the cafeteria and we would have to stay down there after breakfast for maybe 3 or 4 hours before they would let us go back upstairs to the dorms. That went on for maybe a week. And then finally, they were like, why are we doing this? You all can stay in the dorms. Y'all don't even have to come down if you don't want to. I'd go down for breakfast and I'd go back up to my dorm, get on my phone, look at YouTube. With my first stimulus check, I bought some craft supplies and I started making stuff because I have to have something to do. They asked us one day if anybody knew how to sew. And I was like, yeah, I know how to sew. They had us to put our name on a list because they're going to bring some sewing machine in. They had a full list, guys. Maybe 20, 25 people on the list. People who knew how to sew, people who didn't know how to sew. We were going to train them how to sew. They brought 3 sewing machines in. And you know how folks are. They saw all of the material and different things in the sewing machines. They all excited. And they said, we are going to make masks for the first responders in the hospital. You know how many people was left on that list? 3. Oh, I thought I was going to be able to make some clothes for me. I'm not making no masks. These people were treating us well. And these selfish heifers in that shelter didn't want to make masks. And the 2 besides me that was doing the cutting for me to sew the mask, they wasn't even doing that right. I would go down there and sit down there at that table 6 to 8 hours as if I was at work making masks. I was the only one. One day, one of the girls asked me, how many masks did you make today? I said, 32. She said, you stupid. I said, excuse me? You stupid to be sitting down there making them masks all day and they ain't paying you. I looked at her, I said, wait a minute, let me tell you something. I'm not stupid. These people in here, they keeping me protected. They keeping you protected. They feeding us and everything. And I'm the stupid one. What if they put your tail up out of here? What are you going to do out there in the middle of COVID? Don't you ever call me stupid. But you know what happened? The next time we had our meeting, and at the end of the meeting, I stood up and I said, let me tell you all something. A lot of you all in here are very ungrateful. You all don't realize we are being protected from COVID. Y'all don't realize we are eating better now than when we were prior to COVID. Y'all around here sleeping. Y'all not doing nothing. And y'all don't even understand that these people are taking care of us. And you're so selfish, you can't give nothing back. And I said, and I had one person in here to call me stupid because I'm down here working, making masks. You know what? The manager said, she said, wait a minute, Estelle, excuse me. Who called you stupid? And I says, I don't want to say. She says, no, I need to know because that person is out of here today. I says, no, I'm not going to say. I says, because I don't want that person out of here. I says, because if you put them out in the streets, no shelters are accepting them. They're going to be out in the streets. I said, so no, I'm sorry. I am not going to say. I'm looking around. I looked her dead in her face. She had the look of fear on her face, like, please, please don't tell. Please don't tell. Please don't tell. After the meeting, she came to me. She says, Estella, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. You're right. You're right. You're right. She said, girl, I thought you were going to say something. I didn't know what I was going to do if they had to put me out. I said, see, but you called me stupid. But if I had told them who you were, you didn't know what you were going to do being out there doing COVID, knowing that no shelters was taking you in. See, people, they don't understand when good things are happening to them and for them. But I do. Because I realized how blessed I was to be at that shelter. I realized how blessed I was because I followed what God told me to do. And everything that I needed was right here. Before COVID happened, and I went and filed for disability, they denied me. I called the office. I'm like, I don't understand why I'm being denied. I cannot work. I keep passing out. The last 3 or 4 jobs that I've had, they've let me go because I'm an insurance risk because I keep passing out. My God, my God. The lady say, well, you need to talk to your lawyer. I said, I don't have a lawyer, woman. I can't afford a lawyer. She said, yeah, you do have a lawyer. I said, no, I don't. She says, ma'am, you have a lawyer. Somebody answered on your behalf. I said, what are you talking about? I said, okay, if I got a lawyer, give me the lawyer's number. She gave me the lawyer's number. I called, told them who I was, and told them that Social Security said that they were my lawyer. So somebody please tell me what's going on. And they said, well, we called you when you lived in Texas and got all of your information from you, and we sent you the application and told you to sign it and send it back in, but you never did. Yes, that happened. I says, well, that was Texas. I'm in Las Vegas. How did you all pick it up? They says because they work with Social Security, to help people get their disability. And when my name came across and they realized I had been denied, they automatically picked it up. Hallelujah. Ah! Thank you, Jesus. And so they let me speak to a lawyer. The lawyer told me, he says, here's the process. They're going to deny you again. After they deny you the second time, we're going to file an appeal on your behalf. We're going to request a hearing. They did that. Right before I had my hearing, this lawyer calls me and he tells me what I need to say during the hearing or whatever. And I told him, I said, okay, everything that you just told me to say is exactly what I'm going through. I can't say anything that's a lie. He says, okay. He says, I also want to tell you this. You're not going to have a problem getting your disability. And I said, why is that? He says, because you have been rushed to the hospital for the same thing for more than 10 years. I says, what? He says, you didn't know that? I told him, I says, no. But after he told me that, and I started thinking back, before I even moved to Texas, when I lived in Atlanta, I passed out a couple of times when I was working for the federal government and they had me in Herndon, Virginia, I passed out at work one time, and that's why I had to come home. When I started thinking back, all of these incidents I says, I never put it together until I started passing out more frequently. The fact that I was on depression medication and had been on depression medication since my early 20s, and I was very close to 60 at the time that I filed for my disability, he said, that's going to help you too. He said that 90% of the time when I had to go to the emergency room, it was from passing out. And when he said I wasn't going to have no problem with getting my disability, I did not. So from the time that I filed to the time that I got money in my account, it was 14 months. And you talk to most people, and they will tell you it takes years to get disability. While I was in that shelter, they sent me somewhere to apply for housing. Once again, they told me what to do. I go over to file for the housing. Some security guard try to send me away. They not taking applications, blah, blah. I says, I have an appointment. You don't have an appointment? I said, yes, I do. Ma'am, you don't have an appointment. They not taking nobody. I told her, I'm not going nowhere. I know I have an appointment. My counselor made me an appointment. I'm supposed to be here at a certain time. I'm here. I'm not leaving. Please go and check. I'm not checking because you don't have an appointment. I said right out there, when somebody came out the door that looked like they worked there, I told them, I said, I have an appointment. And she's telling me that I don't have an appointment because you all don't make appointments. I says, and Shade Tree sent me over here. My counselor made an appointment with somebody for me to come over. I'm supposed to be here at a certain time. They said, we've been in there looking for you. I looked at her. She said, I didn't know. God, they made appointments. And I says, I asked you to go check, but you just dismissed me and told me I don't have an appointment. I said, see, that's why I didn't leave. I said, because folks like you will make somebody miss an appointment, miss a housing thing or whatever. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. She wasn't sorry. That heifer know what she was doing, but she didn't know me. They took me on back there, did my assessment. I get back to the shelter. They look up my assessment online because they say the higher your assessment, the higher you get up on the housing list. When they looked it up, they said, oh, girl, they assess you very high. But it's still going to take about a couple of years for you to get housing. That was in 20 that I went to the housing place. They started calling me at the end of 22. I was in Houston. And I said, well, can I do the paperwork over the phone? They said, no, you have to be here. You have to come in. I said, can I send someone in? They says, no, it has to be you because we need information from you. I says, can I give somebody else the information? They says, no, you have to come in. I was getting so many calls at the end of 22. I said, you need to get back to Las Vegas if you expect to get housing. The night that I was leaving Texas, headed to the airport, my phone rang. There was a 702 number. I said, oh, this is Las Vegas. You know, there's a time difference. I answered the phone, and the young lady says, we have a 2-bedroom apartment. Can you come in Monday and complete your paperwork? Yes, ma'am, I sure can. What time do you need me to be there? They got me in here just a little over a month of me filling out that application. Well, I'm going to tell y'all guys something. When things are happening, you better be prepared. I tell you all this all the time. Don't let nobody disturb your peace or your joy. Stay away from negative, stinking, thinking people. Stay away from people who try to stress you out, even if they don't realize it. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Sometimes it's a spirit, especially if you've been through what I've been through. That devil is steady trying to get me. But he can't. He can't. Because my Father has me protected. I am a chosen one. Thank you, guys. Be blessed.